Well, hello again, everyone. John Johnson here with Just a Thought. A second grade teacher gave an assignment to her class to write letters to God. Fascinating, the questions that could come from the minds and perhaps hearts of the second graders. Questions, questions, questions. For instance, Amanda writes, Dear God, could you please put another holiday between Christmas and Easter? There's really nothing good in there. Here's another from Allison. Dear God, I read the Bible. What does begat mean? Nobody will tell me. Charlene writes, Dear God, how did you know that you were God? Who told you? Anita writes, Dear God, is it true that my dad won't get into heaven if he uses his golf words in the house? Dear God, Dennis writes, my grandpa says you were around when he was a little boy. Exactly how far back do you go? Nathan writes, Dear God, did you draw the lines around all the countries? Or if you didn't, who did? Norma writes, Dear God, did you really mean for the giraffe to look like that? Or was it an accident? And then this one, Dear God, is Reverend Coe a friend of yours, or do you just know him through the business? Finally, Dear God, Jeff writes, it's a great way that you always get the stars in the right place, but why can't you do that with the moon? Questions, questions, questions. Questions that children would ask of God. But what about some big people questions? What about some adult questions? Questions about things like love, honor, faithfulness, duty, obligation, servanthood, giving. These questions, mortal questions for an immortal God, will be the subject of a series, an exegetical series of sermons that I will begin this Sunday. Had intended to begin it last Sunday, and some issues arose that kept me from doing a podcast last Sunday. But with the Lord's help, and if He is willing, I plan to be on this Sunday with the first in a series, Mortal Questions for an Immortal God, taken from the oracle by the prophet Malachi. The oracle of the prophet Malachi is really, it's a dialogue. It's a series of comments and then questions to follow, mortal questions for this immortal, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God that we all love and serve. Then again, beginning Sunday, mortal questions for an immortal God. Questions, questions, questions. Questions that we all have had from time to time. Questions that deserve an answer. John Johnson here, and for Saturday, the 1st of March. That's just a thought.